he'd spoken to her. And now he was here, pissed at his brother for pulling this crap on him, and trying hard to ignore how much he was looking forward to getting a glimpse of the doc as she walked to her car. Jesus, he really did sound like a psychotic stalker. When Ben got back from the Bahamas, where he was vacationing with Reese, Alex was kicking the guy's ass for sticking him with this assignment. He could only be thankful the woman had a quality home alarm system, or he knew his brother would have had him camping out with her, and there was no way in hell he was going there, even if she was Ben and Reese's best friend. If it came to that, their little brother Mike would have to step in. The thought instantly made him scowl. Knowing Mike's wild reputation, he and the doc would be screwing like rabbits within an hour of him setting foot in her house. There was no way Mike wouldn't put the moves on her, even though he'd been trying to push Alex into asking her out for months now. It was just in his baby brother's DNA. Mike might be closing in on 29, a kick-ass agent with a DEA, respected for his sharp mind and dedication to the job, but when it came to killer curves and a beautiful face, his dick could not be trusted. It was as simple as that. The sudden vibration in Alex's front pocket told him he had an incoming call, and he grimaced when he read the name on the screen. Speak of the devil. Mike's ears must have been burning. His baby brother was recently proving to be just as big a pain in his backside as Ben, the two of them making it clear they believed Alex had wasted enough time stewing in anger after the eventful end of his marriage 5 years ago. Little did they know his pissy attitude these days had almost nothing to do with his bitch of an ex-wife, and everything to do with the fact that he couldn't get a particular redheaded therapist out of his thoughts. Bracing his back against the side of his new Range Rover, Alex lifted the phone to his ear. "I'm busy, Mike. What do you want?" "You know, it's been half a decade, Alex. People can go to college and earn degrees in that amount of time. Pop out a couple of kids. Trek through South America and set up an entire empire of llama farms. We're talking serious life changers. So don't you think it's about time you pulled your personality out of your ass and stopped acting like a prick?" Wondering why his brothers couldn't just cut him some freaking slack, he pinched the bridge of his nose and took a deep breath. "I'm not in the mood for any of your shit tonight, Mike." Not that he was ever in the mood for it. He was an asshole, not a masochist. "So what are you calling for?" The noises in the background made it clear that his brother was calling from his office. "I just wanted to make sure you were watching Brit," Mike replied, his slow drawl a dead giveaway that he was Southern-born and raised. "I said I would, so I am." Alex might be a dick, but he kept his promises, even when he thought they were pointless and irritating. "Good," Mike grunted. "I know you think this is all some sort of conspiracy against you, but Ben's really worried about this Shepherd guy. He thinks Brit was way more creeped out by him than she's letting on." "Oh, yeah? Why's that?" Alex had read the report, which was fairly detailed. 3 years ago, Brit had been doing work for the Miami Police Department as part of a statewide program that placed a specially trained clinical psychologist with trauma victims during their police and medical interviews, the point of the program being to ease the process between victims and the officers fighting to bring them justice. That was when she'd met Ben, who had been working as a homicide detective in the city. Not long after she'd started with the program, the doc had worked with Shepherd after he'd been the victim of a violent sexual assault perpetrated by his own mother and her boyfriend. After counseling him during the week he'd spent in hospital, Brit had passed the 19-year-old on to a local therapist who was meant to work with him on a permanent basis, and her association with the young man had come to an end. Until 2 weeks ago, when Shepherd had claimed to be the victim of another brutal attack while living on campus at Fenton, a private South Florida university in the city of Westville, located north of Moss Beach. He specifically requested a visit from Dr. Cramer when he was admitted to hospital, and being the dedicated professional that she was, she'd immediately driven up to meet with him. 2 days later, after being discharged, he'd traveled down to Moss Beach for an appointment at her office, and everything had gone south after that meeting. Though she had cautioned Shepherd several times during the appointment, he'd grown increasingly personal with her, crossing the line. When she warned him that kind of behavior wouldn't be tolerated during their sessions, he'd stormed out, only to return several days later when he'd